Shri Sairam, by the infinite grace, love, and compassion of Bhagavan Baba, we are here for another satsang. Wish to wish to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Tomorrow is our Christmas, so I like to wish everybody the birth of Christ consciousness in our heart, so that we can be blessed and we can be divine as what Bhagavan wants. The other thing is that I also want to take the opportunity to talk about three things. Number one, January the 4th, please keep that date free. January 4th is a Saturday, January 5th. January 4th, there we are celebrating the 5th year anniversary of the huge group we have been doing for this last 5 years in USA. So they're doing the very nicely. They are compiling a lot of amazing things, and so it will be displayed, and a lot of stories and transformational stories as a result of 5 years of work that they have done. And it's a very committed group that really takes a lot of pain and trouble to do a lot of work for the Gita Vahini and the Prema Vahini sessions that we have been having. So if you keep yourself free, it's at 7:30 p.m. Chicago time on Saturday. So ours Sunday morning, it will be Sunday morning at 9:30, I think, the time. I'll send you the link and I'll send you this. Please join. It will be very nice. Some other countries, many other countries are also joining in to listen to the celebration that they are having. Okay. So this is on 4th of January, Saturday, and for us is the 5th. Secondly, that's one. Secondly, also, this session that we're having on these 108 mirrors, I hope that you really, it's very meditative, extremely meditative, and a lot of healing, very powerful. The names, 108 names, we all keep on reading, reciting, and reflecting on those names and what it means and what it implies. There is a lot of connectivity you get, in each of those names and what Swami is. So, and our idea is we are releasing 1818 for every festival. So please try also at the same time read and then pray and also memorize the mantras as we keep on adding the 18 as the years go by for until Swami's 100th birthday. So next one will come in Shivaratri, So like that, we try and cover and strengthen our conviction so that we can keep on improving our versions of ourselves. So this is the two things that I wanted to say. Then third point was the fact that we finished the last session. Is there anybody who want to add on or say something? Yeah.
Sarah, brother.
Sarah.
Just coincident. I just saw the video about Buddha, where three persons asked him the same question, but the answer are different. Same question, but different. Maybe we can put it a Q&A here, a short one. The first one was, I think he's talking about Ananda, the cousin of Buddha, who's always helping Buddha and at the side of Buddha. He saw this. One of the videos said it's Ananda. The other one said it's a disciple, So the first one was, someone asked Buddha, is there God or not? Now, this person, of course, Buddha is omniscient. He knows everything. So he knows this person have been praying to Lord Rama for a very, very long time, for many, many years. So he came to ask Buddha, is there God? And Buddha answered, no. Buddha answered, no. So this person realized that this is the final answer, and somehow he understood the answer. Probably it's a bit strange to the Buddha give the answer this way. Maybe most of you will be thinking, why? Why Buddha say no God? Then the second person, who's an atheist, doesn't believe in God, even debated with leaders, spiritual leaders and all that, and he won, So as he was going old, suddenly he realized, I might be wrong, maybe there is God, right? So he a bit scared, scared. So he went to see Buddha and asked Buddha. He's an atheist, doesn't believe in God. And asked for Buddha, is there God or not? Buddha said yes. Yeah. So now he have to, do his search, right? The third one is a person who seek for the truth. I think something like seek for the truth, asking for the truth and all that. He asked the same question, Buddha, is there God or not? Then Buddha just closed the eyes in silence for half an hour, and that person also in silence. After half an hour, the person was very happy. He found the answer. So Ananda watched these three persons asking same question, is there God? Why Buddha give three different answers? So maybe it's an open Q&A. Some of you can comment. Sairam.
Sairam, anybody want to comment?
Sairam, Brother James, thank you for sharing the story.
Sairam.
I think many times Swami also has spoken about this. And to the atheist, he used to say that those who don't believe in God, he used to say that at least the thought is coming that there is no God. It means there is somewhere existence of God. So I think the first two people's answer was, with Buddha, was to say that for us to realize the true Atma, and that is what the third answer was, that he just kept quiet. So whether we call it God, whether we call it any name, but finally is the ultimate realization of our true self, whether we call it God or anything. So this is what I felt that Buddha was trying to give different answers to the different people so that they get the correct answer, that to realize that we are ourselves God and we are the same supreme reality. And that is what he meant to say. That third person, he didn't say anything and he kept quiet. That's what I could decipher from your story.
Sadam brother,
Sadhu,
you got the target 100%. Some of you might not understand why the first one. You got the answer actually. Just talking about the first person. He has prayed to Rama for many years, right? And of course we know Rama is God. But then why Buddha said no God? Why did he answer that way? Yeah.
Sometimes people are attached to the form and this thing, but they have to realize that they have to go beyond the form, because finally the awareness and the pure self is nothingness. I mean, it's no form. So that's what I feel, that that's what he must have said that way.
Yes, brother, you got it 100% correct. I hope others can understand. Same question, three different answers. Yes.
Sairam, because he was in doubt, he was not sure, he was asking. He was sure he wouldn't have asked the question.
He wasn't, but because he couldn't find God, you see, so that's why he asked Buddha, you see.
Yes, if he knew, he wouldn't have asked the question.
But why Buddha give answer no?
God is there or not, he had realized he wouldn't have asked the question.
Just now, Brother Maharaj give the answer already.
Doubts in himself, that's why he asked. If he didn't have doubts, he wouldn't have asked that question. His self-realized.
Doubt is maybe God within you. Because as long as you look for form, God, then you will never find. As Brother Maharaj said, you have to go inward, self-realization. The truth is within you. God is within you. That is the real answer. Yeah, correct. Thank you. Thank you. Sairam, Suresh.
Okay. Sairam, thank you, James, for that interesting perspective on Buddhism. Okay, so now we go back to the last week's session, finish up last week's, and then we can move forward.
My pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Now we are here again to share our discussions about the Namavali number 3. The question of which was, I'll just share that question. It's okay now?
Yeah, good.
Okay. All right. I read it out. It says, Salutations to Śri Sāi, who is wholly devoted to truth and righteousness. Bhagwan Śri Satya Sai Baba repeatedly emphasizes the importance of Satya, truth, and Dharma, righteousness, in his teachings. These two principles are the pillars of a virtuous life and are essential for personal and societal well-being. Baba encourages individuals to lead lives grounded in truth and righteousness, thereby fostering love, peace, and unity in the world. By embodying these principles, individuals not only elevate their own spiritual journey, but also contribute positively to society, promoting a culture of integrity and compassion. Truth is not merely the absence of falsehood, but is a profound commitment to purity and unity of thought, word, and action. Living in alignment with the truth leads to inner peace and spiritual growth. So as it fosters authenticity and sincerity in relationships and interactions. Dharma, on the other hand, refers to the ethical and moral duties one has towards oneself, others, and the universe. Adhering to Dharma is the only means to cultivate harmony and justice in society. Everyone has a unique role in the cosmic order, and fulfilling one's Dharma is crucial for the greater good. And the highest expression of righteousness is truth. Satya nashti paro dharma. That is, there is no highest dharma than truth. And the self-reflection questions were, number one, what will I do to strengthen my commitment to purity and unity of thought, word, and deed, and thus contribute to the greater good of society? So we were discussing this question. So we will continue with this one. And later, the second question is, the decline of Dharma is the reason for man to lose his peace and happiness. How far is this true? How can we muster courage to lead a righteous life? So Brother Manoj had discussed about it, and Sister Ramani had also shared about it, like how she was caught by the police when she crossed the wrong lane. And myself also had discussed about how I had crossed the wrong lane, and then the policeman, he changed his mind, became very soft, and he returned my license. My license. Yes.
Yeah, license.
Yeah. So this is how, like, when we stick to the truth, it automatically changes the mind, the heart of the other person around us. So this is how we can help the world, by sticking to the truth. And now the second paragraph, it goes to stick to the truth, a person is faced with peer pressure and obstacles. To keep in line with the virtue, one needs determination and steady faith in one's own self. I faced such a situation in my school days. So it's an experience that I remember always, and give the example also. So it was in the examination hall. My classmate wanted me to show to her my answer sheet, and I did not conform. So coming out of the hall, I tried to convince her about the consequences of cheating and of not cheating. So instead of cheating, we work hard way before the exams start. So, and she took it to heart, this advice of mine. And in the next term, she got very good marks. And that surprised our whole group of friends. Then she said that she expressed her gratitude for being guided in the truthful path. And she had worked hard that time. And from that time onwards, she kept on working hard way before the exams had started, or even more than that. And finally, she became a double doctor. I say a double doctor because she became a medical doctor and a PhD. So this was the way, like, when we stick to the truth, it automatically, it helps everybody around, many people around the world who take the advice and who take our example. Saira. So next person in a discussion was, the question was this. Okay. The decline of Dharma is the reason for man to lose his peace and happiness. How far is this true? How can we muster courage to lead a righteous life? So I invite Brother Manoj to share his experiences and his knowledge with us. Brother Manoj, please.
Sairam. Actually, I had gone to inspect a ship, and normally what happens that the ships they are in the outer anchorage where there's a lot of deep water, and then you have to go to the port. So you have a channel, I mean river passage or something there. You have to where the depth is not much. I mean, if you are the ship depth is suppose 10 meters and the water is 12 meters, and there are some shallow patches where what happens that sand has come. So it needs a lot of special navigation in those narrow channels. So I had gone to inspect the ship, and I had joined the ship just to at the outer anchorage, and then we were taking the ship inside to the port. It so happened that our ship was in Latin America, and there was some wrong movement. Normally, what happened that a pilot comes from the port and he guides the master, the captain, which way to take, because he's expert in knowing the passage where there's no sand or something. So normally he guides, and then the ships of crew they navigate, turning left, turning right, just way. That's what they have. They call it port starboard or something like that, which is a shipping language. So it so happened that the pilot has given some to go to the left, and the person on the helm he gave it to the right, and it so happened that the ship ran on the sand, and it got stuck, and ship was loaded with around 30,000 tons of cargo, and the current was there, so it was very difficult for us to take it out. And it can so happen that if such a heavy load is found on the ground, the steel at the bottom can pierce, and the ship can be again further breached of the water. So it's a dangerous situation. And what happens that if the ship is stuck, then the other ships cannot go and come because of the passage is very narrow. So in those cases, it's a very big loss, and it's a very big claim which the port can ask the ship owner or the pilot or owner or the captain to pay. So I was on the ship, and suddenly this happened that our ship in Latin America was grounded in sand, and we were. So the captain said that no, we should put the blame on the pilot. Why should we do? He was there on board. So I was really a bit surprised. I said, no, if something has happened from our fault, we should write it correctly. And it so happened with God's grace that after a lot of moving forward, we came out of the sand, and finally we reached the port. So we were encouraged. So the captain said that no, we should write because we are supposed to write the movement which the pilot has given. So he was writing. He said, we'll change this thing and we'll say that he gave the port, but we also went to the port. So they were encouraging that to write wrongly and blame on the pilot. But I was firm. I said, no, if I am there, at least better tell the truth. What is there? If we have made a mistake, we should accept it. There's nothing to worry about it. Mistakes anybody can do. So the officer came, and when we reached the port, it so happened that the investigation was taking place, and a team of 4 or 5 officers came from port, and they asked who all were on the duty and different questions they asked. So we could have easily, the captain thought that we could have easily escaped if we just write our document correct. But I was insisting that no, whatever wrong has happened, we should write it. So the investigation took place, and what happened is the officers, they took all the 3 people who were in charge for this navigation in different directions, and they asked them to relate the same incident from the beginning. And it so happened that if we would have made any correction or something, there must be not aligned. All the reporting could not have been aligned. Just because we were telling the truth. So the person who was giving the order, person who was writing, and person who were taking the order in the engine room, we were in the right direction. That yes, there is a mistake has happened. It has happened because of the ship's crew. So this grounding is at the fault of the ship's crew. It's not because of the pilot. But when all the three reports of the three people, they were aligned, it was all in line because we all were telling the truth. That yes, there was a problem with the ship, and we did it, and we should be liable for this. It so happened that the officer was so impressed just because we were telling truth, and of course there was no damage to the ship also, so there was nothing to worry about it. So we escaped that big claim from the ship because we stuck to the truth. So that's what I felt, that I could have also gone into say what captain was saying, but certainly something from behind under me and said no, we should stick to the truth and let us face the problem, let's face the claim or whatever it comes. So the truth also gives you a confidence to face the challenges. At the same time, if you're speaking the truth, it saves you from big calamities also, and this is what it happened. Apart from that, Swami has said Satam Riyat Priyam Riyat. So we have to speak the truth nicely, sweetly, and do not speak harsh truth. We cannot tell a blind man that he's blind. And what Swami is talking about here is what in this paragraph, what Swami is talking about, the ultimate truth. These are just the worldly truth which he's talking about. So this ultimate truth is which we should look for it, and which is going towards our goal of self-realization. And that absolute truth that never changes irrespective of time and place. When we start our journey with the worldly truth, we purify ourselves, and then slowly we can move towards the Atmic truth. So that as in the paragraph it is said that we have to align our thought, word, and deed. So this is where in the world, when we start realizing that we have alignment with our thought, word, and deed, then it will be easy for us to reach towards our Atmic truth and self-realization. This is what I felt. It was told in that paragraph, that Saira.
Thank you, Brother Manoj. Now we go on to the next slide. Next, Sister Shamini, please share your ideas. Sister Shamini is here.
Saira Aunty, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, please.
I think mine will always be what I experience and go through in my life with my two children. A lot of things that happens, and even these three verses that we have completed, a lot of things have related to what I habitually go through or practice with my two teen kids. My daughters, 16 and 20 years old, are my biggest association currently. I mean, in my life, half of my day is them. So when I stick to truth and the rules of the home, the generation gap says that mom is getting weird, please chill, your generation is different, we are different, you need to understand what we are going through more than what you have experienced in life and things like that. I think all of you as parents, probably many of you would go through the same thing. So as they are reaching the young adult phase of life, I've altered my way of responding and be more mindful in my reactions. Example, children. like children just go through their phase of life as they are supposed to go through their fate as well. And I have started slowly practicing non-judgmental thinking on my children and the decisions they make in life. Even though I sometimes feel it goes beyond the way I was brought up or what my father instilled in me. It sometimes just goes 100% different from how I was brought up in this life or in this world. My aim is to assist them as an adult in their life and make them always feel Amma is here for you, no matter how many times you fall or fail or go against the rules or make mistakes in your life. You will eventually realize the truth as it is, as how to say it's as it is fated for you, destined for you. Like how all of us came into realization who Swami was, and some of us would have just seen Swami as Guru. And as we aged and experienced and set by the, broken by the rules or set by the rules and everything, we came to realize what truth is, what God is, what actually is within us. So looking at suicidal rates and self-harming practices among teens, this is my current research and exploration among young adults. It made me think hard. What can I do if it was my child? If my child went the wrong path, how do I tell children to come back to truth, come back to the real reality of how they are supposed to appreciate life and what God has given in them, in their Atma. So parenting strategies need to be altered based on child's need, and be ready to accept our mistakes too. Love, joy, forgiveness, prayers are very important for their daily living. And I'm actually trying my best, even if I fail sometimes too. So this is basically how far I practice or master courage to lead a righteous life. Saira.
Thank you, Sister Shamini. Like, this was really enlightening, because in this age, all this is happening, and you have really covered it very well, Sairam. Now we go on to the next one. The same question for Sister Purnima. Sister Purnima, please. Sister Purnima, are you there?
I think no.
Okay. So may I read this for her?
Yes.
Okay. So the same question for her was the decline of Dharma is the reason for man to lose peace and happiness, and how we can muster courage to lead a righteous life. So she said the examples which we have already given before this, she said that they are at the worldly level. And in truth, there is no true or false. Just like in Vishwarupa, there is good and the evil. So the truth is just a word, and it is nothingness. Suppose if an adult's son has done wrong and is in jail, would you go out to bail him and save him, or no? So she was putting us this question, and she said that she would not. So this, to me, is the ultimate truth. The level of your behavior to all should be the same, not bias. Right is right and wrong is wrong for me. We have to be truthful to our consciousness. In family, this conduct may not be acceptable when the children say, "Ma, why can't you be normal like others?" I just laugh it off. Ultimately, it also depends upon the recipient, how he looks at it, because everyone is not of the same intellectual level. I think we should discuss this question a little bit. Like if anybody has something to say about it. Suppose if an adult son has done wrong and is in jail, would you go out to bail him and save him or no? And I would not. So that is the ultimate truth. So what should be done in this case? May I open the floor to this question?
Saram, sister. I mean, Sister Punya may be right and may not be right, because it depends on the situation, the circumstances, and the the son, the understanding of your son. You know, sometimes the truth might not be the truth. You know, so we have to weigh the pro and con. If it's something very serious, very direct, and all along your son, you know, from young until now is always bad behavior or no good, you know, then of course a cane is a good lesson. It's the most powerful lesson. Like Swami said, sometimes teacher they use cane, mother they use cane, you know. So I think her answer is like using the cane. Of course, you know, there are situations where sometimes we don't need the cane. That's why in the Western world, you cannot beat your children, you know. I was surprised when I went to Hong Kong. My son said, you cannot beat the children one, you know. You beat the children, you go to jail, you know. I think Sweden or something like that, you know, some of the Western country, even in Hong Kong, they also practice like that. I was so uncomfortable, you know. When your children do something wrong, you cannot beat the children. You know? How can you train your children to be a good children, you know? So there is a pro and con there, and not easy to make a decision. Probably they feel that it's better not to beat the children because the children will not grow, you know, positively after, you know, being beaten and all that, you know. So different people might have slightly different view. I think see the decision whether you need to go to jail or not to go to jail. Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam, yes.
I kind of agree to Brother James on to how we are, depends on the situation and also the generation. I would go back to what I was mentioning earlier. If they are children these days who are very much learned or they explore, they read a lot, they're very much exposed to other options in life. So I feel like they must be guided to make good decisions in life by we being the role model, or you know, if we are parents, we are the one who I think they will always look at, despite them saying that friends are their world or the outside world is more important and things like that. But when they come home, it is us that they see what we are doing. They may not want to follow us. You know, sometimes my children, bhajan also, they don't want to come. They, you know, ask them to alter the, you know, go to the altar and pray also, they'll be like. But the example that we set is definitely the first step, I feel, towards them making good decisions in life. And if we are going to choose cane, they might repeat such a practice on their children as well, violence. So eventually, I feel like firstly is how we set the examples for them, the right path, the righteousness, the dharmic way, no matter what they are doing. And bearing in mind these days, children, values are caught, not taught. Honestly, true. I've experienced this when I practice it. Eventually, they do it. They are also becoming like me. The way they handle their issues with their friends, how they follow the path it's definitely the parents. And the way we are conditioning them, their mindset, also is very, very sensitive. These days, children, anything they can say, depression, they can self-harm them, lock themselves in the room and do weird things that we would never have thought of. In those days, if we say depression, my dad, I think, will just give a tight slap or something like that. Headache means go and sleep. These days, it's not like that. If you don't attend to their issue, that also becomes it becomes an issue. That becomes another problem. And they will say that we are not doing the rightful parenting to them. So they are all very well exposed and learned and knowledgeable in this way we are treating them. So we have to be very, very careful, I feel, when we handle our own children and other kids. Sai Ram.
Saira, parents they are the role models for the children. Most of children, they copy their parents. So parents play the biggest role. So it's all up to the parents. You can't blame the children. Swami also told that parents are the first teachers for children. So if the environment, the parents are to be blamed, not the child. And you shouldn't punish the child. Through love and care, you have to change it. And this world full of, nowadays, people are more worldly minded. And when they see the other children, they want to copy that. So we have to guide them, tell them that is not good, this is good. It's up to children, up to the parents, because both parents are going to work. No time to look after the children. So when they come home, when the children ask anything, they just give. Yes. They don't want to upset the child. Whatever they ask, they give. Please them. That's the biggest thing that is happening, which is wrong. Just to escape, they do. Whatever they ask, they give. Whatever they want, they give. Then later they suffer. And they put all the blame on the child. It's not the child. Parents are to be blamed. They have to be more careful handling the children. Because the children are helpless, they also don't care. They think they have to depend on them. So they just treat them just like that. That is very bad. Because we are feeding, we are giving, they tell some parents, we are doing that, we are doing, no, it's your duty. So all that is not good. These days children are more depressed. That's why they commit suicide. If the parents are against him, they don't know what to do.
True, auntie.
Yeah.
Honestly, true.
You have to keep him.
It's just so fragile. Honestly, it is very, very fragile the way we handle
Both are going to work.
them.
It's difficult to handle the children. You can't blame the children. Parents also have to work, but our desires must reduce. The happiness matters. Peaceful life, happy life. That is what matters. Not all the show and that and this. So you have to think, the parent must think, which is important in life. And then they have to decide what they have to do. Children are very important. Very, very important. A child, their future, everything. You can't just blame the children. Nowadays, children, they are bad. No. Nothing wrong with the children. They are very good, innocent children. It's up to the parents to look after them and bring them up. Sai Ram.
Just an thought on the suppose if an adult son has done wrong and failed, would you go out to bail him? I think it really depends what the situation or the crime is, because most of the youth in Malaysia they actually go to jail because of crime done by their friends. It's not them, it's just that they are in the bad company. Somehow they are going out in bad company and the bad company is going to do some crime, but they did not do it, so they get into problem as well and they put the whole group into jail. I think the problem here is the friendships. Because Tommy says always in ABC, always avoid bad company. They run away from bad company. Tommy even given a discourse saying that there are no friends in the world. That everyone is selfish and goes out doing their life put out of selfishness. He told it to his students, there are no friends in the world. So don't have any friends. There's only one friend, which is Swami. So I think in this context is the company they keep. If they're hanging out with bad company, definitely they will end up in jail. So it's always good to keep good companies. If you haven't found the good companies, better to be alone.
Anybody else? Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Madam, can I share one more interesting story?
Yes, sure, sure. Yes, of course.
This happened quite many years ago when my son was about to take the Form 5 exam, which is very important exam. And the time, being a youngster, the time computer was very popular. So my son would like to play computer, hours, So his exam was coming. And of course, mother is very worried, So one evening, my wife shouted at the son because he was playing computer, and it's only a few weeks from the exam, very important exam. So my wife got very angry, shouted at the son and all that, And then my wife from upstairs shouted to me, "Husband, you are a father, you settle the thing. Your son is every day playing computer. Exam coming also don't want to study, So I was thinking both of them was heated up, and if I were to interfere now, it's going to create more problem for my son, and it won't solve the problem. So I prayed to Swami. Swami, please show me a way. So actually, for a few days, I didn't, tell my son what to do, What happened was the next few days, I was having tea with a friend, with his brother, younger brother, whom I have not met. This younger brother told me there is an astrologer in Kopong, in Sri Dhammasara. Suresh will know. So anyway, I went and did the astrologer reading. And he was quite good, considered good, considered good. So I thought of maybe bring my son to see him. Probably he can enlighten him or something like that, or maybe can show him a way out, And this idea just come to me, Instead of me telling, I'm asking an astrologer to tell him, but I didn't ask the astrologer to tell, but my intention was just see how good he, see what astrologer talk about him, and then maybe astrologer can recommend something, So anyway, my son will not go and see. My wife also don't very much believe in astrologer. So I straight away called my wife and told him about this astrologer who is quite good. Sivanathan, I think Suresh very familiar. Okay. I convinced my wife, You know why I convinced my wife first? Because my son will ask, Mom, don't believe. True enough, when I talk to my son, Mom also doesn't believe. No, I say, Mom will say, okay. So he, on the phone, I told him, Mom say it's okay, because I have convinced the mother first, So he had to come along. So my son, myself, and my wife went to see this astrologer. Now, this astrologer is very good at telling your weak point and your strong point. So he mentioned the strong point of my son, and he also mentioned the weak point. But one thing good about this astrologer is that once he knows your weak point, he also use his he will think of way how to overcome your weakness. So he told my son the weakness, you will you won't have time and this and all that, Then he taught him few methods how to overcome the problem, and then he knows his Form 5 exam very important. So the soldier guided him from his weak point. You should do this, do this, do this. I think 3 or 4 points at least. You do this, you'll be okay, right? So actually, I never advise my son, never. Till today, I also never tell him what to do, So after the soldier talk already, I just kept quiet. 2 weeks later, my son asked me, Father, how come the uncle know all my secret? So the soldier pointed out very strongly his good point and weak point, and how to overcome the weak point. So my son was very surprised, So what happened? The exam came. Now my son, from young until the Form 5, there are certain subjects he doesn't like, like geography, history, he doesn't like. Science, I think he's more interested. But anyway, all his exam, he will normally get about 4A, you know. Even he don't study, he'll get about 4A, you know. But the other subject he won't touch. He is not interested, you know. So that's it. The astrologer given the advice to him how to overcome, and he sat for the exam. When the exam result came out, I don't know how many of you can guess. You know how many A he got? His standard every year is 4A. Sometimes lucky, maybe 5A. And I was so shocked. Within a few weeks, his exam came out, he got 9 A's, you know, double. Instead of 4A, he got 9A. That's because the astrologer told him what to do and how to overcome his weakness, which, of course, we parents tell, he said we are nagging, you know, right? So we cannot talk. It's a third party. And it enlightened my son-in-law, right? So now my son, like, he also like bring his friend, go and see the astrologer there, you know. But of course, there are certain rules that you have to follow before you see an astrologer. It's very important, certain rules you must follow so that you know what is right and what is wrong. And astrologer may not be true and may be true. So certain rules you have to know before you go and see is very good. So it's very interesting how me and wife cannot help my son, but only God, Swami, showed the way. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Brother James. So now we have these points to muster courage, read a righteous life. First, avoid bad company, correct guidance by the parents and others, and parents being a role model, and finally asking Swami to show the way, and he shows the right way. Thank you very much. So now we continue to the next person. The same question for Brother Manoj again. Brother Manoj, please. Brother Manoj?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sairam.
Let me just read and I will. Peace has already declined, and as we see people telling lies, a lot of crap going on. Telling the truth will always remain the same. It's only when we rightly feel peaceful that we protect Dharma. Making mistakes is sometimes is something all do, but our conscience tells us that truth must be the priority. They resonate with the basic principle of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. So I just wanted to give you an example that we were discussing. So I just that there's a book by Shiv Khera where he writes that. In the beginning of the book, he writes that the values are relatively modified with the time. And he says that about 50 years ago in America, it was discussed, what if my son does not fare well in the studies, or if he doesn't, if he's not truthful to me. But today, parents worry that will my children marry opposite gender or same gender? How many marriages they will have? Will they be deluded into drugs? So this degradation of value is so gradual that people accept the lower values as the acceptable level. So like I give you example that totally vegetarian children, they go to foreign countries and they say they start eating egg. So to this, they explain that these eggs are in the market also. They showed that these eggs are not fertilized, so they are not destroying any life. With such explanation, we accept that, okay, at least they are not eating non-veg, and this shows that truth has degraded due to the science and living conditions. So just to tell you that, I was just thinking that, like if you take our scriptures, in Rama's life, he just obeyed his father's words and went to jungle. So and in the same avatar, the same Lord, when he came into the Krishna, there are a lot of things which in his story, which is different from ideal, from which Rama would have lived. So what I want to say is that as the time passes, as the advancement of humanity comes and all these things comes, the circumstances change, and the truth also is to be told in a different way. Of course, the righteous way of living is always to be pursued. So, as the earlier cases which we heard that the sister was telling that for her daughters and other things, how to deal with them. So it is. I'm 100% sure that the environment which earlier our parents lived, like mother never used to work, she used to take care of us. But now the husband, wife, both are working. Children are left in the college or schools in a different company. So it is there that there will be some alteration in their behavior and character than what we have lived. So we have to find new ways to alter and to change their behavior. Because if we stick to the old practices of punishing or just telling that you should do the way I'm saying, it is not possible. So the way Lord Krishna, he tackled he brought the Dharma in a different way, sometimes in killing his own relatives like Kansa, and sometimes telling, inspiring Arjuna to go and fight war because you are doing for good. So idea is that the truth remains same, but the thing is that the way you present it, it becomes a different way, because you cannot use the same tactics in every time. And this is what I feel, that even if the parents are good, even if the parents are very pious and everything, but they are not there for long time, so their impression on the child is not as effective, because they have been influenced by the television, they have been influenced by the media, and they have to live in that society. And if they don't be that, they will be bullied. So idea is that what I feel is that in these situations, we have to make the child strong, taking those bad things and making him realize that that is not good. Of course, since they have to live in that company, they can live in that company, but they have to be firm in the conviction that what we are telling is that correct, and then they can live a virtuous life and a beautiful life. So we cannot even say that just because I'm living, you have to live that way. My parents did like this, you have to do like this. It is not possible. So what we have to do is that sometimes a lot of parents, they get tensed up. Oh, my daughter is not listening, my son is listening, what shall I do? But the idea is that we cannot change others. We can change only ourselves. We can only change our reaction to that, to their behavior. And once we do that, what happens is that with our simplicity, with our love, we can bring them to our fold the way which we want to do it. So it is not that we have to use the old tactics, we have to use the new tactics. And we have to explain them in an intelligent way, not by just simply believing what I am saying. You have to give a logical way, because they're logical mind, and they cannot just take what we are saying, that you have to do that. So like a lot of our colleagues, they used to do Sandhya Vandanam and all those things, but it is not possible now with the city living and everything. So whatever is the way of practicing our culture, whatever in a lighter way they can do it. Of course, these children are very clever. They can understand what is right and wrong. And once we understand them and teach them, I think they will be able to change themselves and mold themselves. So the purpose of our study circle is to rise above the level that we are, and slowly, step by step, come up. Our aim is the ultimate truth. All this is happening in Kali Yuga was not heard in Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga. So all what happened was never heard in Satyuga. So Swami has given us this mantra of Nam Smarana to purify us. Primarily, we are doing it for ourselves. By doing it so that we first transform ourselves and then purify the environment and then the society. It means that we have started to work towards it. So this is what I feel that the way to make the world more righteous is to first work on ourselves and see how we can transform ourselves to that ideal. Then things will change slowly. That's what I feel should be. Sai Ram, sister. I think there's something more to be read.
It's continued, I think.
Okay.
I think, is this
No.
yours? Just
No.
it's
Okay.
you had sent this one. You had sent this to me.
Okay. Okay. So I just read it and then I just sent it to you. That some reflections. The attribute dharma associated with word encompasses the order of any entity, every atom in this manifestation of Brahman. The dharma of sun is to rise in the east, give light and heat, and set by the night. The moon is to give light in the night and vanish once the month has come again and wax at the full moon. The teacher, the shishya, the police, the criminal, the student, the husband, the wife, the guru, the doctor, the patient, everyone have a role to suit their definition. And when they play that role, they are called dharmic. Otherwise, they are adharmic. But what is the dharma of a Brahman, or God, or Guru? The universal self transcends the time and space. God or Guru is Satyam, or the truth, or eternal independent of time. The devotee, after experiencing the joys, sorrows, ups, downs of the life, and realizes the temporary limited untruth of life, ultimately differentiates the one eternal permanent truth, the Brahman. He sees the Brahman, whatever form he identified, as the embodiment of truth, the dharma of his own life, own self. He enjoys uninterrupted truth and permanent bliss on surrendering the identification. So Lord Gita says in Bhagavad Gita that whenever there's a decay of dharma, yada yada hi dharmasya, which you must have heard, and ascendancy of unrighteousness, I manifest myself in the protection for the virtuous and the destruction of the vicious. And for this establishment of the righteousness, I manifest myself age after age. So this is the mission of the Lord, who appears at appropriate time and works for his own way to fulfill his mission. For instance, when Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas neglect their duties, when spiritual precepts are not respected but humiliated, when nobody cares for the religious instructions, when under the cloak of religion people indulge in malpractice, when the yogis neglect their meditation, when people begin to think that wealth, progeny, wife are their sole concern, and thus turn away from the true path of salvation, then the saints appear and they try to set matters right by the words and action. So Swami manifested himself to show us the dharma of unity of God and universality of love for all beings. Can you change the slide, sister? So I think we have gone to the second thing. So this is what
Yes.
actually our time went up, so we couldn't discuss much about it further. So this is what our topic was, and we felt that we cannot change others, but we can change ourselves. And by changing ourselves, ultimately we change the environment, and so others change. This is what we felt that this should be done. Of course, if a child goes in the wrong way, we have to tell him and tell him that this is not the way to be done. But we cannot force him, and we should not get agitated that he is not changing. It is somewhere that there's a fault in our teaching mechanism, which is causing him not to change, because the world has changed, the circumstances have changed, and we have to find new ways how to make him understand that what is truth and how the dharma has to be followed by him. This is what I felt was my notion about this subject. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Brother Manoj. Very enlightening. So now we come to the Namavali, number 7.
I think we didn't discuss this fully, so.
But there are a few.
Okay, we can go. Please go ahead.
Sister Kamlesh, you are muted.
Sorry, brother. Okay. Om Śri Sāi Sādhu Vardhanāya Namaḥ. Salutations to Śri Sāi, who is granting prosperity to all virtuous and pious people. The word Sadhu means good, virtuous, honest, one who leads a straight and unerring life. Baba has come to protect all those who tread the right path and to ensure them a life of prosperity and well-being. Thousands of years ago, Sri Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Parāyaṇāya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, which means for the protection of the sadhus, the destruction of the wickedness, and the establishment of dharma, I take birth age after age. So in this Kali Yuga, he has come again with the form of Satya Sai and assures all noble people that their lives are under his loving care. He often stated that divine grace is bestowed upon those who earnestly seek truth and live in alignment with the higher ideals. Through his numerous humanitarian initiatives, he demonstrates his commitments to uplift all individuals, especially those who embody noble qualities. So the self-reflection questions are, what do I identify as my higher ideals and noble qualities? And how will I practice them in order to spread spiritual as well as worldly prosperity? And the second, what adjustments in our life must we make in order to give more time and energy towards the ideals of protecting sadhus, destroying wickedness, and the establishment of dharma? So the little bit that we discussed will now share. Sister Prasanna, please, are you here?
Yeah, silent sister.
Yeah, please.
Oh yeah, I think I was telling a story about one of our family members where we had to develop the courage to follow the righteousness in our actions as a family, because when we have a close member of the family going through trouble, just like the example of the son, where if your son is making a mistake, what will you do? That question was asked, right? And one has to follow the righteous path about what needs to be done. I think it was a similar situation when a family member was in a lot of trouble because of the way they were managing life. And so they ended up with a lot of debt with people from who were not doing so well to people who were affluent. They got money from them but never returned them. But while getting it, they always said, oh, you will get so much of interest back. And so people were trying, who were saving money, like a person who keeps a tea shop, one who's a driver, they wanted to make their money more, whatever they saved. They gave their savings to this family member, and he promised to give them more. And he did that in the beginning, but stopped because he was not able to do it further. And so now everyone is in a state where they gave the money, but they're not getting it back. So this happened 10 years back, and then all the brothers helped him come out of the debt by repaying all the people who gave him the money. And then the situation continued, and we
I think the problem of what really the family was doing to get into the state of debt was not corrected. And so, because it was a family member and we needed to help, everyone pitched in, sold their own stuff, what they owned, and helped the family member come out of the trouble. But after 10 years again, this is happening again. And the parents are very old, and all the people who give the money come to the house and ask about um, their son, what happened, where he is. And seeing all this, the brother of that son, the brother for this boy who's having this trouble, family member, had to really take some action. He was living upstairs in the same house as the parents. So all the people who gave the money were coming and asking the father, who's 90 plus years old, what happened, where is he? And this is not what the father expected from the son. It's just that all other sons and children are doing well. One of them had a life like that. And so we had to take some decisions here. Like, this is not good for a parent to experience things that they are not responsible for. And somebody had made a mistake and can't be responsible for their mistakes all the time. And so the best thing was to avoid these people coming and looking for their son, so that they are not humiliated by all these things. So that's the Dharma. At that time, we were thinking, like, we have to do the right thing. If people are actually cheating others who have been saving money and not giving them back, this is not good. I mean, personally, we may not have been impacted much because as a family member, you wanted to help and you help. But then if this is happening all around the space where other people are also impacted, and having this person live upstairs in the father's house but not doing his right thing was not a good thing. So the father and the rest of the children requested him to vacate and leave the house. So it was a hard thing to tell a family member to leave, but thinking about what is righteous was the thought that was going on. Whether the person left or not, that's a different question. He hasn't left. But asking him to leave was a moral dilemma for many of us. And at that time, we had to stick to what is right. Like, is that person following the right path? Should we be part of supporting that person to do more of these wrong things? So we should not be part of something that's going to be going south. That's not the right thing. So it's important whether we do the right things or not, but we shouldn't be part of another thing that is not right. So that's what kept coming back. And so I think the proper answer came from within, where this is definitely not a bad thing to say, to ask that person to leave the house, and even take action for making this person go out of the house. So that's the type of righteousness dilemma. I think many of us go through what is right to do at many situations, making decisions which is the righteous path. But when we'll have to rise beyond our own selves, but think about the greater good and see what more trouble are we causing by supporting certain things or not supporting some things. And so that's where the righteous thought needs to be kept in mind. The greater good has to be kept in mind, as one of the passages in the past indicated. That's all, sister. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Anybody wants to share something on this point?
Yeah, Saram, sister.
Okay,
I think
Sairam.
also Swami say, sometimes you like to help people. Let's say a beggar. Swami say, by helping a beggar, we are committing a sin. You must see whether it's journeying or not journeying. So is it going to help the beggar or not? Or are we journeying, helping, that the beggar will help themselves or not? So these are some of the questions we need to ask ourselves. Sometimes we are caught in situation, whether to help or not to help. That's why in the side movement, we will say, even when they help those poor family, we have to go and survey, look at the house. And then from there, we have to have have a meeting and then decide whether to help is there a joining case or not. Because if you're not joining, you also have to pay the karma, you know. Sairam.
Yes, Sairam. Anybody else wants to say something? Share their views? Okay, so we go on to the next person.
Just 1 second. Maybe, yeah. Another just one more point I want to mention here is that in the earlier discussion and also now, when we are handling especially the younger ones, see, there is this, all the behavioral manifestation psychologists are saying later in life come from issues that they have had when they were growing up. So one is guilty, one is trust, one is neglected, one is abandonment, one is anger. Many things that has happened in the formative years, the way in which they are thinking is manifested later in life. And then a lot of healing has to go through to make sure the rectification takes place. So this is a very precarious and very, very volatile period in which the way in the children or the people are handled must be because the ego is so fragile. It can turn this way, it can turn that way. That's why this Namasmarana, the bhajan, meditation and all these things is supposed to make us more and more sensitive to that ego so that we know how to handle it and how to manage that and help people to cross the ocean of samsara. So this is that's why spirituality, however you look at it, whichever way you look at it, is the most relevant subject in today's world, most relevant, because without this, I think we will have a lot of problems in the future because we won't know how to manage, we won't know how to do this. So this, and then another thing is that this subject that we are talking about, Satya Dharma, Parāyaṇāya, Namaḥ, is the whole idea is Satyam and Dharmam, unless we are infused, the word is, how are we supposed to be infusing ourselves with Satya and Dharma all the time, continuously? That means literally Satya and Dharma is like the water in which the fish is swimming inside. So now we are just supposed to swim in that ocean of Satya Dharma. How do we? So we don't need to even talk about it. The moment we come out of Satya Dharma, our conscience must keep on saying, hey, if something is happening to you, you're not thinking properly, this is not good. That's why Swami said, ultimately, the conscience is your guru. So then we quickly get back into the water of Satya Dharma and keep on being inside that level. I think this is the regulation that we need to keep in, because this ideal that Swami has talked about in the third line is directly helping us to continuously be in this, remind ourselves to be continuously in this zone all the time, continuously breathe, think, feel, everything like that, so that we don't move away from the, from the influence of both of these. I think that is what this thing is. And whatever that we are speaking about is within that framework of this third thing. I just wanted to put it into context so that we continue to focus only on this.
Saram, can I add one point?
Yeah.
I think we got our Dharma to do, then the children also got the Dharma to do. So there are at times where, you see your children going the wrong way or doing the wrong thing or not the right way of doing, I mean, as parents, normally we will try to guide them and then tell them, but they are young, they are not experienced and they are inquisitive and they are adventurous. So sometimes when we advise them or tell them, they won't listen and they go and knock against the wall, and then they might be hurt or might not be hurt, doesn't matter. But as a parent, normally for myself, I just tell you the truth. That means I've done my Dharma. I won't force you. But if you think that your way is correct, I'll let you do and let you knock the wall and then let you learn the lesson. Right? Because sometimes they need to be some incident or accident, then they only realize that, this is not correct, So I don't know how many of you practice this, but for me, it's quite a standard practice. I mean, I do my Dharma. I will tell him, explain to him, but he made his own decision. If he still continue his decision and then not again, no, it's okay. Let him grow. By knocking, he's growing. Sairam.
Oh, definitely, because the point is valid. Because sometimes some people have to learn from their own mistakes, how they fall. But definitely there will be a learning, and from that learning, they come back, you see. Just that we just need to do is making sure that the damage, sometimes learning can be also very damaging as well. But nevertheless, I think critically at this stage, the kite, the string, what do you call it, the kite to fly, the string must continuously be, but the main connection is the level of the feeling. So that's why the Atmic level is very critical. The Atma of the child and the Atma of the father, mother must be connecting continuously connected, and keep like that in prayers, keep in self. I think that will really help, especially in times when these things happen. Because at the end of the day, there'll be something inside the child will say, I know I want to do it, but I can feel, somebody is going to be hurt in the long process. It's all coming back to sensitivity. That's the whole point of it. Okay, so we have got exactly another, Sister Kamalesh, another 7 minutes. You think you can finish this by 7 minutes?
Yes, I think so. Yes, there's just one and a
Okay.
half slide more.
Okay.
So the same two questions for Brother Manoj, just a little bit here, and then Sister Purnima. Brother Manoj, please.
Yes. I think I checked. In a drama in Puttaparthi, Rama had to go to exile, and Bharat reached there to take him back and rule the kingdom of Ayodhya. Apologies and excuses by Bharat had followed. King Janaka was present too, and he was asked to judge whether Rama should return. Janaka said that when there is a tussle between the love and righteousness, Satya and Dharma, love should have the upper hand. But one thing has to be followed here. And one thing has to be followed. Here the Bharat was, and the people of Ayodhya very seen to be imposed their love on Rama. But Rama should also be allowed to express himself. Rama's love was to fulfill his duty and help his father's word to keep his father's word. This shows that love and righteousness has to be understood and expressed discreetly in every type of situation. I think it's just written, it's something written differently. What I told was that when Janaka gave a verdict that the love has a higher strength, and then the Janak and all the Ayodhya people, they were very happy that, oh, now the Rama has to follow and he should go back to Ayodhya. So Rama, in a very wise way, he heard the voice of Janaka, King Janaka, and smiled. So looking at this, Janaka again paused and said, but the love also has its own dharma. So everybody again got quiet. What is this dharma of love? And then he said, Bharat has to ask whether Rama will be happy going back to Ayodhya or doing his or fulfilling his pledge which he has given to father. And that is how, because Ayodhya people and Bharat were imposing their happiness on Rama. But Rama was happy fulfilling his word given to his father. So this is where the Rama has won the judgment, and he went to jungle. So what I feel is that here, being out of love, we should not enforce our decision on others, whereas to see what is what is the other person's happiness in there. But it doesn't mean that in today's world that we should do that way, because a child would like to do buy something which is very expensive, and we cannot go pleasing our child to buy those things because our pockets don't allow. So idea is that there is some restrictions in love also, love also has to be guided by the righteous way or a correct way to be followed. Otherwise, it will not be a dharmic love. So this is how we have to balance between these two and lead our life. Saira.
Thank you, Brother Manoj. Now, Sister Purnima, she is not here, right? So may I read this out? Sister Purnima said, when we surrender totally to the will of God, we do not think of right and wrong. If we think that I'm helping him out, then you're off reality. But if you're doing spontaneously, then even if it appears wrong action to others, you know within yourself that it is right. So here she meant that in some situations that the other person needs help, and maybe it was wrong, it may be wrong to the others, but it is the dharmic way of helping the others. We just don't think it's right or wrong. We just spontaneously take the action and help that person out. So that total spontaneous action becomes the dharma, the righteousness, and that is the truth. That is what Sister Purnima meant that time, because we have totally surrendered our will to the will of God at that time. We go on to the next slide, the last one. Anybody would like to read out? Okay, the time is running out then. It says, without truth, the world cannot exist. The entire world rests on truth. Everyone has to seek this truth. It is because man has forgotten this truth that there is no peace and security in the world. Shastras is the netra to man. It is the eye that leads and illumines and guides. Follow its directions. That is the whole duty of man. That is the big task before the world today. If Shastras are fully understood, no doubts will ever arise, no discussions will be needed. So this is the end of our group discussion. Saira.
Saira, thank you, sister. Your conclusion is like sealing the whole argument. Can all always, but go back to the rules of the books, That's what, finally, at the end of the day, what the master is saying, if you want the experience, then follow the scriptures, follow the words. So any deviation from there, we try and persuade using love and using righteousness to bring back ourselves to the prescriptions laid out in the scriptures. That's what the conclusion is saying. Okay, wow, it's a really deep session, and Brother Manoj's the ship session. The experience on the ship was a really eye-opening one, very powerful. And then we went to the home, domesticated areas in which this can be tested. All that is where the Satya and Dharma continuously gets challenged. But the word is infused. How are we going to be in the center of it? And this reminder is that my feeling is sincerely there's one truth in this. If you look at the word Om Bhagavan Śri Sāi Babāya Namaḥ, Om, you keep on chanting the first one. When you say Om Bhagavan, when you use the word Bhagavan, the word Bhagavan comes from the word Bhaga, which means 6 powers. That means Bhagavan has got 6 powers in it. One who has got complete dominion, which means complete sovereignty over everything. That's one power. Complete knowledge. Second power, complete wealth. Third power, complete splendor. Fourth power, complete detachment. Fifth power, and complete wealth. All 6, when you have, you become Bhagavan. So when we say Om Bhagavan Śri Sāi Bhava, these 6 powers, which is what basically we need in this world, is already with Bhagavan, and you are inviting him. And where is he installed? In your heart, in our heart. So when we have him installed in our heart, various conflicts that we have at the righteous level or at the love level, at the relationship level, all these will become issues as we travel along, which is natural. But when we have him installed in our hearts and vibrating with these powers, then we will definitely, when we summon, not at our intellectual level, not our mind level, not at the physical level, but at the Atma level where he is, and then when we summon from that strength, you know what? With the knowledge, we will get clarity. With wealth, we get assurance. With splendor, we get radiance. With the domination, with the sovereignty, we get the pervasive awareness that Bhagavan is here. With detachment, you will get objectivity. So with these kind of attributes coming to our system, you know, the very hurdle that we have in the front of us can be diffused, and we will then travel in our life and reach the end destination, which, by the way, when you go to the 108 names right at the very end, Om Sri 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 Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, again comes back. So we started from him, we are ending up also with him. I think this is what the journey is. The 108 names give us a kind of like a journey towards our final version of ourselves. Wonderful, brilliant. Thank you so much. Very nice, inspiring. We will wait now for the fourth one. You see, even one, you see, we go so deep. It is so beautiful and inspiring. Let's wait for the next one next week. Oh, by the way, next week, New Year Eve, some of you will be New Year Eve, will be bhajans we will be having. So, Billy, I think next week we won't be having, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I agree with you that next week, because some centers may count down now. So I think we will not have a session next week.
Okay. To be fair, because many devotees, they will go to the center for New Year Eve and then they will do the countdown there, you know. So never mind, let it be like that. And then we'll come back again in 2 weeks' time and then continue this session. I really, really wish you a happy Merry Christmas on behalf of all of us, and Happy New Year. May this New Year bring resolutions, bring very firm resolutions that we will achieve our goals, our end. And at the same time, please remember January 4th, I'll send you the links, join us. It'll be very inspiring the way, a lot of work they're doing. So it'll be nice to see their transformational stories, which will be shown. Thank you, and Saira.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all.
Thank you,
Merry
Sai
Christmas,
Ram.
Happy New Year, brother.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Sai Ram.
Bye, Ram.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wish you all Merry Christmas and a very peaceful
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Saira.
Saram, everyone. I shall end the call now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.